In this video, I promise to show you the best mount that I have found for the Starlink Mini, how to power this thing up, and what has taken me well over a month to figure out through a lot of trial and error, which will save you a lot of time in figuring out how to mount your Starlink Mini to your off-road vehicle. Hey guys, I'm Tim. I wanted to take a second to give a review. I had mixed feelings whenever I ordered the adapter. There wasn't a lot of information about it, and after receiving the adapter and going back and looking at it, it looks like a lot of people had issues with fitting and things like that. And what I'm talking about is the adapter for the Starlink Mini. It was designed so you could put it on top of your vehicle and be able to use it. It comes with heavy-duty magnets, 4 of those. And the cradle itself is all constructed out of metal, so I think it's a really great product because it's very sturdy, and that's exactly what I needed, because I use this for work and I also use it off-road in my Jeep, so I'm out in rugged conditions. It's been 2 weeks now and I've used this on several trips. It's worked really well. I did notice whenever I was putting my Starlink Mini into it, it was a very snug fit. And I had to start on one side and collapse it over the other side and then slide it into this front bracket. And once I did that, it worked fine. I didn't feel like I was twisting the Starlink Mini at all, because I would be concerned with that too. But it was a little bit of just positioning it to get it to snap into the bracket. And once it's inside the bracket, this actually comes unassembled. So this part here was not on it. You have to put it on last, so that's the last part of putting this product together. And what I noticed about it was the holes for it at the top, you could either, it looked like it could line up underneath it or above it, but it actually goes on top of the brackets like this. So this is sitting on top of this bracket, and with that it has this top bracket which holds the Starlink Mini in on this side too, so you actually have brackets on both sides. But with this, I did notice the edges are a little bit sharp, so I was very careful whenever I put this on top just to make sure I wouldn't scratch the Starlink Mini, and I didn't have a problem with it. So once assembled, you just screw these bolts into it after that, or they're actually screws, but they come with a tool to actually adjust them in. And I put it together. It took me about 6 minutes. 6 minutes it took, but we're far from done. That was way too easy, and of course things never go the way that we plan them to go, so I had to come up with another solution. Now, if I was to run this on the Toyota 4Runner with an all-metal roof, that would have worked out perfect, but I was going to put it on the Jeep Gladiator. And with the Gladiator, I had mounted the hook road roof rack, which the frame of it was metal, so it stuck to that. However, the slots in between on the rails were not. They were made out of aluminum, so luckily they had the slots to where you can mount equipment on them, so I was able to utilize those to mount the Starlink Mini. However, the next problem was the power supply. The Jeep itself did not have enough power to power it, so I had to come up with another idea to do that, which we figured it out. I won't bore you with all the different power supplies we tested. I'll show you the one that I ended up going with. I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos on testing power supplies, so I'll show you what I came up with. So let's continue on with the video. You do have to tighten the bolts inside there for the magnets. And I'm going to reroute the cable on this. Magnet keeps on the rubber. Go ahead and put the lock nut on there. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put a washer on first. And then we'll use the wrench to go ahead and tighten that down. Oh, the back magnets are really good. Very sturdy just with one bolt in it. I'm going to go ahead and put the second one in just to be totally secure. But I like the way that's turning out, and really that's not going to go anywhere. On a security standpoint, this is really great. This locks this into there, into the brackets, not easily removed. You would have to actually unbolt it to get it off. And this particular bracket actually completely encloses the Mini inside of it. So now everything is bolted down. Okay, things I've learned about the Starlink Mini. With this mount, I haven't had any problems at all. On the highway, it's been quiet. That's what I wanted. No whistles, no extra noises. I can't even really tell it's up there. And whenever I've taken it down the street where tall buildings are, and where we go under underpasses, and we go through car washes or through bridges, things like that, you will lose your signal momentarily, but it does come back after you clear it. And same thing when you're out in the woods. When you're under a lot of brush cover and trees, you will lose signal, but as soon as you clear those, you're right back at your signal again. So it actually, you can compare this to your XM radio. If you have satellite radio, it works the very exact same way it does, and where you have problems with your XM radio will be the same locations that you will have problems with your Starlink Mini. So taking those all into consideration, this is a good product. I like the way this mount's turned out, and most of the time it's on, unless we're in one of those situations that I spoke of. So let's go on to power. Well, welcome to week number 4 of the video. I have been busy testing this thing and trying to figure out the power. So let's talk about the power that's going to make the Starlink Mini run. From Starlink Mini, you get this AC adapter, which works perfect. If you plug it into your AC inverter, it'll run your Starlink Mini in your vehicle all day long, no problems at all. But the problem is I use a dual battery system, and all of my auxiliary power runs off of that to an aux beam switch controller. And whenever I run this, it seems like I'm just not going to be able to run it as long as I'd like. So with this comes a whole bunch of cable, which can be beneficial. I have an idea for the cable, and I'm going to use it. However, as you know, the longer the cable is, the more voltage drop you have. And I noticed that this needs every bit of 14 volts or better to be able to work properly. And it's running consistently right about 25 watts. So I looked at several different options. One of them being the USB-C plug that I could run into the vehicle. However, it wasn't enough. It would not plug it. I changed out my barrel connector to a barrel connector that goes to the Starlink Mini on top of the Jeep, down to a USB-C connector, because originally I thought I could plug it into my USB-C port and it would be plenty of power and it would run just fine, which it did not. So I tried an external one and it didn't work either. So then I watched a lot of videos, tried to educate on other things I could do. I found these 2 power adapters, and they actually work, and what they do is they up the voltage. So by increasing the voltage, the Starlink Mini would actually work, and it ran fine. I was actually able to tie that into one of these USB-C chargers, and it ran fine as well. But I wondered if there's anything else that may work better, and I actually found it. I found this little guy here. It's got the cigar plug on one end, and it's got the USB-C adapter on this end. Now, originally this was designed for laptop computers, which runs a lot like the Starlink Mini as far as the power goes. And with this adapter that's made for the computer, it's got the USB-C port, which works fine because I got the USB-C to barrel adapter, which is perfect. It's only 12 feet long, so I'm not dropping the power that much by running it that far. And I'm running it through the hole that I cut in the back of the Jeep right up to the roof, and it's mounted up there fine. And the other thing that I'm thinking about now is keeping these power converters around, because they do run the the Starlink Mini good. So I had an idea to keep one of these on, which I think I'm going to choose actually this one. And I picked up a barrel connector that fits the barrel connectors that's on this cord here, so I can actually plug it in. And what I'll be able to do now is I'm going to put this over on an extra switch, so it's not going to be on the same switch that I ran the cigarette lighter adapter to. It's going to be on its own. And if I actually had to unbolt the Starlink Mini from the roof, because maybe I'm camping under a lot of trees, then I can move that out to where it has clear sky, and I'll tie the barrel connector to it, and I can go back to this long cord that actually came with the Starlink Mini, and I think all my problems will be solved for each type of situation. So, but on the day-to-day for the last month, I've ran this cable here, had perfect results with it. So these other options will be backups that I can use, because, you know, as a tactical saying goes, 2 is 1, 1 is none. So this is 2 extra ways that I can actually power the Starlink Mini. I think it's going to be a really great idea. So I have links in the descriptions below. I get a small commission off that if you'd like to try one of those and see how it works, or you can use those the types to go find them on your own if you can find them cheaper as well. But I'm going to put those links down for you, and I hope this video helps. It's been a lot of pain for me over the last month trying to figure out what works, what don't work, and if I find out anything works better, or if these aren't working, I'll let you know too. So thanks for sticking around the video. If you like and subscribe it and share it, it would really help me a lot if you'll do that. If you have any comments, please put them below and I'll answer your questions. And I thank you for sticking around, and I hope you have fun and safe out there and enjoy your Starlink Mini and all your adventures.
I'm pretty deep over here.